Hello and namaskar. Very good evening, everyone. This is Shilpa from shiksha.com, moderator for this session. Today, our topic of discussion is data science career and future scope. And our agenda will be to know what is data science, career and growth, how to be a data scientist, salary and interview cracking tips, job roles and responsibilities. So if you have any questions related to our today's topic of discussion, feel free to post either in the question and answer box or in the chat section. So what I'll do, I'll just get those questions answered from our today's expert. So let's meet today's panelist. We have Rahul Verma. You are an IIT Dhanbad graduate and currently working as a data scientist with Walmart Global Tech India. I heartily welcome you, Rahul.
Yeah, thank you, Silpa, for welcoming me like this. Yeah. So as you mentioned, yeah, I am currently working as a data scientist here in Walmart. And I have experienced in other companies as well. Very happy, and I will be very happy to help other students, and who are joining this webinar to help and get the path for the data science. So yeah, sure, we can begin with that.
Right. Glad to have you, Rahul, in this session. So let's begin this session. So the first question to you is, being a data scientist, you can answer like, why all of a sudden this whole world is talking about data everywhere? Like there's an exponential growth of data in the world. Why is it so?
Before jumping towards that, I'll just put one point over there, like what is data first, right? So if we see around us, right? So every information is a data in the data science field, I would say, right? So and nowadays we are all connected with the internet, and we have all smartphones, devices, laptops, and we are doing multiple searches also we are making. Right, we are like if we are going for a shopping online, we are doing anything, right? We are making queries over there, like we are searching for whatever you want to search over there. So we are interacting with the internet world a lot nowadays, right? So everything what we are doing, it's a data point, right? So let's suppose if I'm going outside and buying something, right? So it is also a pattern, like what I like to buy, what I want, I like to eat. So all that information is a data, right? And now we are using a lot all these internet connected devices, so it's humongously increasing around us, right? So and if we see there are a lot of devices that are being used in the world, like sensors and all. So like in healthcare or the transportations, right? So there are multiple uses of the sensors, and these sensor produces data. And there is a use, like how we can use that data. That is an another example. Like there are a lot of hidden insights hidden basically into it, right? And that insight can be used to improve the system, or to improve the efficiency, all that thing. So basically, and the first main reason that I mentioned is the internet connected devices, and we all are connected with that. Another main reason is the cloud computing. So I'll just mention what is cloud computing, right? So cloud computing is just to handle all that data, right? We have different servers, like big servers, to handle all that data. Previously it was not that popular, or it was not that researched well, but nowadays it is developing a lot, right? So we are able to handle that big data what we are generating nowadays, using all that devices, sensors, right? And with that data, now we learn there are huge opportunity that we can find from the data to take decisions, to develop new things, new products, all that. So that's why, because now we are able to handle all that big data thing. So that's why it is increasing, and we are seeing positive trends and patterns that we can find from the data to improve the world, or improve the different organizations and the different fields like healthcare and all, right? So that's why the data is increasing. Yeah.
And glad to know that people are actually already started liking your session, so they have started sending their questions. Though I'll take that question, but if I'll just talk about in a layman language, what I have understood, you have to correct me, Rahul, okay? Like we are basically digitizing all the information. So we have a digital data, and there are the devices which, produces, process, and deliver data. And then we store it in the cloud, as you said, the big servers. Is it so?
Yeah, so basically, let's suppose if you are searching or you are buying something, right? So that will be like in a layman terms, if I want to convey it also. So basically, if you are purchasing something on Myntra or a Flipkart, right? So that's the order is saved on your ID, right? So let's suppose you have purchased a phone on this date, right? So that sort of thing, the history or the log, I would say, that is stored with respect to you. So let's suppose if there are similar multiple users, right, who also are doing the same shopping and all. So with this data, we can also find patterns with that. So basically, that's what I said inside, right? So basically, let's suppose if Shilpa is buying an iPhone, right? There are another user who is buying an iPhone, but there are set of a user who likes Android, right? So that kind of patterns are hidden and all that information are logged, right? So that's what the digitization of the things that we are doing. It's not on the register or the paper, that sort of thing. So as we are more towards on the online world, right? So there are big cloud servers or there are where all that data is being stored and the processing is happening, right? So so that is the main thing of storing the data and getting into it.
And with this, next up, let's take a question.
Sure.
Preetha has this question: since artificial intelligence is the future, do you see a growth in data science in the next 10 years?
Yeah, good question. So basically, with this webinar only, like I can understand the enthusiasm of the people, right, looking towards the data science. And the growth in the data science field is also increasing rapidly. The curve is exponential. The research is happening in the field of the data science and the AI, right? So obviously, there is a very good scope and the future in the data science. And as it is not, and the main point is it is not completely done, and I don't think so it is going to be in near future. It is always a research thing. Like people can develop new things and work in a new fields, and they can apply these data science and the AI in a different what do you say different field, and for the different problems. So it will always be demanding in the demanding in a huge scope in the coming 10 years down the line. The data science will be booming.
So Rahul, as you were saying that data are everywhere, it is everywhere. So nowadays, every company and the organization is depending on data. So how these companies are actually using this huge volume of data? What do you think?
Yeah, so basically the collection of the data is for getting the insight. So the huge companies that they are getting the data or the collecting the data, right? So they are processing that data using the data analytics and the machine learnings, right? So machine learning. So these are the few things with the help of what that companies can use that data and get the insights or the patterns out of that complex data. So if I give a quick example on that, like how they are using. So let's take an example of the retail, right? So if people are shopping, buying online, all that, right? So with that data, uh, if company wants or the organization wants to get the pattern of the purchasing customers, right? What customers are liking in maybe in a season or other seasonal, let's suppose the Flipkart sale is going on, what is most popular, that kind of thing, right? So from the previous or the historic data, that kind of insights we can get, and based on that, the business or the marketing team, right, they can take a valid decision, or I would say more better decision they can take, and with that the business can be improved, right? So because the insights and the patterns will be hidden into the data, and that we need to dig out, and that will happen with the help of the data analytics and the machine learning, right? So it is used in multiple fields, like in healthcare also, right? If I give you another example, right? So how healthcare will be using it will be like, if a patient on a risk of any disease, right? So they can use some characteristics of that patient, or the what are the issues or problems that customer is facing, right? So with that they can predict, okay, in the previous few customers had all that symptoms and all. So what what could be the possibility of the diseases, right? So they can predict the disease, and if they predict the disease in the meantime, like in the curable period, right, they can save the patient by giving the treatment for that disease, right? So it's a that's how they are using the data in a different field in a different way, I would say. So it's based on the analytics and the machine learning algorithms that are developing in the world right now.
Okay. So Rahul, I can see some bunch of questions in the Q&A section. I think even you can see it. Before that, I can see people are actually raising hand to ask their question. What you can do, you can post your question either in the Q&A section or in the chat box, and I will take those questions and I will ask Rahul for sure. So let's move ahead with the question people want to ask you. Jaydeep has a question. So which programming language is better to learn for data science?
Yeah. So for the data science, it's kind of, multidisciplinary field, I would say. It's a consist of different things, data science. So basically for data science, right now in the field, right, the Python and the R language are very booming. So for a data scientist, you should be knowing the Python or the R for, building your models or the prediction or getting the insights, right? So that is based for the data scientist. But if I talk about the different field in the data science, like the analytics and all, right, so there are tools that we use for the data analysis purpose, like we use Excel or the Tableau, right, or the BI. So there are for the data engineering, I would say it is also a component of the data science, I would say, right? So for the data engineering, it's like Scala or the Java, right? But the main language to do all the analysis or all the experiments in the data science, I would say prefer Python or the R.
Thank you for answering that, Rahul. Let's take up next question. What is the main difference between CS and data science?
Yeah. So there is not a difference, I would say. CS, the computer science, so it's a subset of it. So data science, right? So if I explain it right, what data science is, so basically it is a combination of the computer science and the stats and the analytics also. So it is not a difference. You should know how to code, how to program, right? So that is the subset of the data science. Or to become a good data scientist in the field, you should be knowing the stats, that mathematics, and the programming language as well.
And next up, we have question from Leela Divya, and she's asking what are the requirements needed, like programs, C, Java, which one she should do?
So basically for the data science, right? Okay. So both languages are good, like C and Java. But I would say for the specific for the data science, myself prefer Python or the R. But if Java and C is preferring, right? So there are parts of the data science, I would say, like I mentioned, the data engineer part, right? So they prefer doing coding in Java. So if you're liking Java, maybe I think data engineer would be a better part for you for the data science, right? And there is another what do you say role in the data science, I would say, that is machine learning engineer, that also prefers coding in C. So whichever language you are liking, do it, but programming is must, so don't skip it.
I'll quickly take few more questions, Rahul. Mohit Chauhan has the question. I'm currently doing BCA. Is it necessary that the student from BTech can only do the data science course?
No. So basically, for the data science, the must need is the stats, right, or the mathematics. So it is not necessary that you should be a BTech guy or a computer science guy. It is not necessary to become a data scientist. You just should be a sound knowledge of about mathematics and the analytical mindset. So and if you don't have a degree regarding that, also that is also okay in data science right now. You can just do online courses, or you can do hands on it, like just practice by your own and show your skill by making a project portfolio. So it is not compulsory to be a BTech, right? For sure. So just be good in stats, hands on programming, and analysis. So that's are the requirement to become a data scientist.
So for all the attendees, Rahul is here. He himself is a data scientist. He is replying to all your questions. So actually, we are very happy to receive all the questions. If you still have more questions based on data science, feel free to share either in the chat box or in the Q&A section. And I'm actually getting it all answered by Rahul. So Rahul, with this, let's take up another question.
Sure.
Sir, if we want to pursue data science as a career option, is it okay if we start with maths honors in our bachelor's? Mathematics honors in a bachelor's?
Yeah, completely. So as I mentioned previously also, right, in the previous answer. So for the data science, right, you should have a knowledge of maths. Degree, it's secondary, right? If you are good in maths and you can implement the code for that, so programming is the second thing. And if you have a good in analytics or the analytical mindset, right? So these are the few things that should be there, right? So it is not, if you are doing a honors, data science is open for you as well.
Rahul, let's say for instance, I'm a person who is from the mass communication background. I have no experience in tech, stats, or programming language. Can I do courses in data science? Can I be a data scientist?
Yeah, it is just based on the curiosity that people are doing, right? So if you are curious for the data science, definitely it is open field for everyone. Just for that, just prepare yourself, just do a few courses, make projects, or, gets your hand dirty on the programming side for the data science in Python and R. So yeah, that's it. So anyone can become a data scientist. Just you should be curious and little bit hands on it. Yeah.
Right. I have a follow-up question on what you said. I will be asking my question later because it's important to address what other people are asking. So next up, we have question from Shaw. And he's asking, I'm currently pursuing MCA degree program in data science. It is an online degree program. So while searching for a job, can online degree become an obstacle?
No, I don't see it. It will be an obstacle if you are good in, in the other things. If you have an experience in a data science, or if you are doing any course on the data science, right? And if you are, learning it fast, or if you have done any projects in a good way, like you have completed a projects with a good score, or it's just a sound knowledge about the data science, right? It won't be an obstacle like online course and all for you. So many people in data science here, like what they do, right? If they have a degree in some other things, right? They are working here, and they are doing online courses outside also. So they are pursuing their degree also, or what they want in a future, and they are data scientists here.
So two questions, they both are similar. So it's basically about students who are in 12th standard and how they can just begin their career as a data scientist, how they can begin it now from the scratch.
Yeah, so I think for 12th or that class, so first thing is you should be good in your boards, right? So but yeah, I think in 12th maybe you can start with a coding part. So because in I guess in 12th there are a few subjects related to programmings, right? So maybe from there you can develop your interest towards that, right? So just start with some small programming codes, how to write and all, right? Later on, when you do the graduation and all, right? So in that time you can just deep down into the data science algorithms and everything. So but during the 12, I would say just focus on the programming skills, and just develop that mindset. Okay, coding is good for me or not. So that's the thing. But for data science, later in the graduation, there will be you can just work on different algorithms, or projects and everything. So maybe in graduation, but in 12th, start doing coding if you are not started.
So Rahul, I think I will be dedicating all the time to the attendees only, because even you can see the number of questions are increasing. So which online course do you suggest for the students of data science?
Yeah, so for online courses, like Even I did like, multiple courses there. But I can just suggest, right, the like Coursera, DataQuest, and DataCamp, right? They have large amount of the courses, right? And I would prefer mostly doing a practical courses kind of thing, right? So where what they will just not teach the theory on the online, right? They will just give you exercises also to do, or the implement data science problem, or the model, or build something, right? So I will prefer doing that. So maybe on Coursera, DataQuest, and DataCamp, right, you can find multiple data science or the machine learning programs over there, or the courses. So I think you can just go there and just search for the practical machine learning, or the data science, all that, right? Some specializations course you can. So basically, in a specialization course, they will start from the scratch, and they will teach you in depth also. So that kind of thing you can start from the online courses.
Rahul, I want to ask you one question. So all the online courses we are doing for whatsoever platform we are just pursuing it. So during the interview, does company actually consider it?
Um, they will, but I would say not just the certificate that you are getting, what kind of the knowledge you got from that course, right? And how much you got it. So the certificate and all, it is good. It is showing that you have done something in a data science, right? And that too passionately you have done it by acquiring the certificate or something. But you should have a very good knowledge about that course if you have done something, or if you have, let's suppose in that course, if you have implemented any algorithm, or if you have solved any good problem, right? You should have a depth knowledge, or like how that algorithm works, right? And where and all we can use that. And so yeah, definitely the courses that you do, that matters. Uh, but you should have a good depth knowledge about that.
So here I would just try to combine two questions. One has been asked by Piyush. That's basically what are the chances to get a job if they pursue a course in data science? And one aspect is related to the salary of data scientist. If you could just share some insight on both of them.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you are doing a course on data science or a degree on a data science, right, there are huge opportunities in India. Like many companies are investing here, or if you want to go abroad also, right? So there are huge opportunities over there in the data science. Currently, in most of the field, I would say like they are, creating a different teams or the sections, to build, their data science solutions, right? Because data science is something that makes human to take better decision also based on the data, what data says in the previous history, right? So I would say there is a huge opportunity for the data science to get a job. And yeah. And the second question that you had asked about the salary, so that's very, I would say, depends on the experience that you have, or the what do you say, different org, or the what kind of the work that you are also getting, right? So that depends, widely. So there is no, I would say, any average number or something, but it for the data science, I would say the median is good enough.
With this, next is Sagar wants to ask you, SQL is important for data science or not?
Yeah, so good question to learn about the SQL or not. I forgot to mention that, right? I was just mentioning about the Python and R. So see, SQL is, querying the data. So if you are a, data analyst or a data engineer, right? So SQL is very must, right? But the how that SQL query works, right? For a data science, for a data scientist, right? It should be there. Like how, if I write a query somehow, how will it work in the backend? So basically, how we do in a data science, like in Python also, we have connectors which we directly connect to database, and we can write a Python query also, right? So SQL, we can write a SQL query also, but we can do the same thing with the Python also, right? Python or the R. So, but knowledge of the SQL is a plus, and you should be knowing at least the basic of the SQL, right? If not the tough aggregation or the joinings and all that you can do in the Python, but the concept of the SQL and the Python, right? How to query the data, how to join the table, how to extract the some set of the data, right? So that is very common. The logic will remain same, just that the syntax will change. So if you are learning a SQL, get the functioning of it, how it is working in the backend. So yeah, it is good to practice with a SQL.
Rahul, next up, we have a question from Sejal. What is the level of mathematics in data science?
Yeah. So there are, I would say, two branches of it, right? So if you are doing a research part, right, to develop a new algorithm or you are modifying an algorithm, right, you should know the mathematics or the function that they are using behind it, right? So it will require your depth knowledge of the maths, right? So what kind of the function, but basic, the linear algebra, the main machine learning, right, is based on the linear algebra and all, right? So that is the main thing. You should be very good in that linear algebra and differential equation and all, right? So for the mathematics, but if you are solving a problem, right, and if you are using a inbuilt algorithm and all, right, you just you should be knowing how that algorithm is working. Uh, I'm not saying it is not important, but at the same time, when you are using a ready-made algorithm, right, you don't have to write a mathematical syntax or something mathematical function into it. You can directly use it and you can build your model. But if you want to optimize your model to get a more accurate results out of it, right, you should be knowing the functioning of that function that it is using inside it. So, and for the research part, if you are going into a research, you should be very good in the mathematics and the stats, right? But if you are using to solve using the already made algorithm from the packages, right, you should be knowing the functioning, like how it works and all, to optimize the your final results.
And with this, let's take up another question as has been asked by Alma. Good evening, sir. Can you just tell us about online data science internship whilst you are completing your degree? That means she is completing a degree and how she can fetch an online data science internship. So any example of the online company which offers data science internship? Or maybe you have just done with some.
So when you say online, do you want to do it internship online, or you want to search the internship online?
I think her preference is doing online internship.
Okay, okay. So I think during the COVID, it was an option to do the internship online. But nowadays, like as it is opening up, right? So most of the companies are calling the candidates on board, right? And they are asking, but yeah, there are what do you say, opportunities on for the online, internships for the data science as well. And they are maybe the ad and all that will be available on LinkedIn mostly for they might be promoting for online internship and all, right. And yeah, so but there are opportunities for online internships.
So they can search about internship. There are several platforms,
Yes.
like Rahul said, LinkedIn. There are the companies who post the internship opportunities, and Internshala is there. So there are several well-known platform are there where you can just actually search for the online data science internship. So with this, let's take up another question. I want to do a transition from my career into the data science, and I didn't get good marks in mathematics. Will that be an obstacle, sir?
So yeah, but I think that my career matters, right? What is my career? So what's your the first transition state from where you want to migrate, right? But yeah, marks till 12th, like we used to run behind the marks. But yeah, uh, if marks is not good in maths, but the knowledge for the math, right, maybe because that day was not good for you, so marks is not good, but you like the math, and you did hard work towards math, right? And if you have a good knowledge towards math, it's easy to jump into the data science.
Let me take another question. Which online courses? Again, there's a repetitive question related to what all online courses they should do if they just want to be a data scientist. So I think, Rahul, you need to just talk a bit more on this, or maybe just name it like Python language. You were saying that that's important. So maybe
Yeah. Yeah, so basically, I think there is one course on the Coursera that I also did, and I think many folks has done that, right? So that is from the Andrew NG, that machine learning course, right? So that is very basic for the maths and what is the understanding of the basic machine learning and all. So maybe with that, you guys can start. And after that, if you want practice on hands, right? So maybe there is again on the Coursera like hands on the practical machine learning. So with that, you can start with that, and after that, yes, do a course in side by side with a Python also, because Python or the R, whichever language you prefer to do, or you prefer to code with, right? So maybe along with that theory part, you can also start with the Python, and with the practical machine learning, that course I had mentioned, right? With that, you can get your hand dirty on that.
let's take another one. Again, it's regarding the package. So, Rahul, if not exact numbers, but you can just tell us the range, because there's another question based on salary, which is like, what would be the starting salary? Is it like 10 lakhs or less than 10 lakhs? So give us some idea.
That's what I mentioned. Like it will vary where you are landing, right? So for the data scientist, like I would say it will hover around that 10. What you say for the beginners, I would say, right? But I can't comment like everywhere you can get that much, but yeah, it will hover around that, right? So if you are a hard worker and if you have a good projects and if you have done good experience in the data science and all, you can easily achieve that. And just one more point I would say for the money part. See, if you are interested in Python or the data science, right, prefer doing that. And if you are doing good in that, the boundary of the 10 is nothing for that. So because it's a emerging field, right? Everyone wants a good data scientist over there. So I would say if you are doing really good, work hard in the data science, that if you are asking that boundary line, that boundary line will always increase for you.
We are basically bombarding all the questions on Rahul. So I think I should just give a bit of break to Rahul. So today we are just discussing about data science, and considering the time we are left with, I'm going to launch a poll so that we can understand whether you are liking this session or not, or do we need another session on data science. So maybe we can plan with Rahul again. So the first question in the poll is like, is this session helpful? You can answer it in a yes or no. Second question is, how likely would you recommend this webinar to your friends, or is it actually helpful to you? Again, you can rate it from 1 to 10. 1 is being not likely at all, 10 is being extremely likely. So I would request all the attendees to kindly vote so that I can plan the next webinar based on your consideration. So meanwhile, Rahul, let's take few more questions if you're ready.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Next up, we have question. I have done my PG Biotech. Can you please say things related to biology, related in data science? Basically, applications. Yeah.
Yeah. So, as I mentioned, I think in the beginning, right, the healthcare, right, that field. So, they are using a data science at very large scale, right? And there is a huge scope of the data science in the healthcare department, right? For everywhere, like to detect a disease till the which drug is working and all, right? So there is a huge scope in that in the healthcare sector for the data science, and there are many new techniques that they also use, right, with the experiments and also. Yeah, in the healthcare there is a scope of data science.
Quickly, I'll take another one. Okay, Preetha Nagpal, she's asking, Apple is currently looking for data scientists and other jobs like that. So do you think we will be needing extra knowledge to be the part of a company like Apple?
So basically not extra, I would say, just be good in that for the job profile that you are looking for it, right? And if you have an experience in the same terms that they are looking, so they will be defining some the requirements that they need, right? So if you are really good in that, or you have done the something related to that sort of thing, and if you are good in data structure and algorithm, I would say, so in most of the companies, right, for data science, it is just not mathematics or the analytics, right? As I mentioned, there are part of the data programming, right? So programming will include your data structure and algorithms and all, right? So that will be the composition of it. And apart from that, right, you should be knowing an end-to-end working for it, like how we can from the basic problem, how you can solve that problem, build a solution, right? And till building, after that building, right, how you can deploy it in the production also, how you can make it to a generalized use, right? So it varies from from the experience or the profile they need, right? If they are needing as a fresher, or as a fresher candidate, right, then they will be mostly focusing on your data structure and algorithm, right? So yeah, so there are requirements based on the profile, but the requirement they mentioned, you should be good in that. And apart from that, if you have done an extra thing which basically aligns with the requirement of the job, right, that is the plus point for you. So yeah.
With this, let's take up a few more questions. And how would you rate MBA in data science after BTech in data science? Do you think there's some use of doing some courses like that?
So basically, the first was the BTech in data science, and then MBA in data science, right? So see, BTech is basically in graduation, and MBA, I would say, post graduation, right? So it's obviously, but there are fields which opens up, right? So let's suppose doing a BTech in data science, you will be a data scientist doing a coding, developing models, building, deploying into the production, all that, right? So that is the one chunk, right? But if you are doing an MBA, so it will open up, right? uh, I would say from BTech also these lines will open, right? But doing an MBA, you will get an exposure widely. You will be learning separately for that, like a products, right? How we can develop a new product in the field, right? So what could be the characteristics of the new product, right? So doing an MBA in a data science kind of give you an opportunity to work in that field also, thinking about the products. And then after thinking, making a whole structure of that product, how that could be used in the audiences, others by the other audiences, right? And later on, the data science team, right, will work on that to develop that thing. So basically, there will be another path will open after the MBA, like the product or the marketing team, right? So that is the new opening after doing MBA.
So basically, they can be the face who can deal with the client and they just fetch the requirement and telling the technical people, right?
Yeah, so that is fetching the information from the client. That is one thing. And let's suppose if it is a product based company, right, you can just think your own product and develop inside it, and then you can monetize that product. So that kind of thing can happen.
So next up, we have question. Many companies' criteria for data science is experience and how to get the experience. What all internship is being considered as experience?
Yeah.
Should I
So
repeat, Rahul, or you just?
yeah, I got it. That
Okay.
experience part for the data science, right? So so experience is basically exposure to the corporate. So when there is a transition from college to corporate, right? So in the college, basically there will be learning of the subjects, doing codings and all. But the life of the corporate is different, right? So you will be dealing with the real world problems, you will be solving it in their way, right? So doing an internship will be a really good step to get into that bucket, right, of getting the awareness how that corporate world is working in, right? And the basic experience is, let's suppose for the specific project or the data science that you are involved in during the internship, or maybe you got a job and you work for 1 or 2 years, right? So basically, experience is towards the field that you want to be in. So that will be considered as an relevant experience, right? So if you are doing a data science projects for past 2 years or past 3 years, that will be more effective than if you are doing a 1 year software engineering and a 2 year data science. So that's kind of an experience will matter.
And for those who are asking about where this session will be available, once it will get over, it will be available on Shiksha's official YouTube channel, link of which I'm sharing in the chat box. Please have a look at it, and this session will be available in some hours. So with this, let's go ahead and take few more questions. Which programs can we pursue for masters after doing BSc in data science? Any idea about it, Rahul? Otherwise, we can skip.
Not I can't confirm on, because there are it depends on the choice also. Like it is not hard and fast that you after BSc you have to do something, right? So it's based on the choice, like which degree you want to do. Yeah.
Or maybe something which interests us. For example, I have seen people doing BTech in data science, but later on they are just mastering themselves in AI only, and other are doing more studies in data science. So yeah, I agree with Rahul that depends on your interest. So you have to find your interest first. Okay. And another one is has been asked by Harshada. Is there a major scope of data science in India like other abroad countries?
Yeah, so I mentioned in the beginning as well, right? So there is a huge scope for the AI and the data science in everywhere, like abroad also in India also, right? So many companies are investing in India also for the data science development teams and the development centers, right? And if I mention some, even our Indian government also recognized, right, about the data science, and they are powering it also, right? So I think recently that national data and the analytics platform, something that sort, right, from our Indian government also has been launched. So basically there is a scope, and everyone is recognizing that scope of the data science, right? And they wants to develop it. So yeah.
Next up, we have a question. Is MSc in data science is enough to get a job in this field?
Yeah, so even MSc is fine, just that I'm, I think, reiterating the core thing for to get into a data science job, right? You should be uh, you know have some projects or the portfolio of the data science projects, right? And you should know how to code a data science modeling, if you are doing a modeling, right? From getting the data till cleaning the data, visualizing the data. If you are visualizing, are you able to find some trends or the patterns out of it, right? So that kind of analysis on the data part, right? And after that you are building your models or the making predictions on it, right? And yeah, just an add-on on that, right? For to become a data science, right, you should be good in communication also, right? Because you have to convey your findings to other stakeholders or the other mates, right? Okay, what you have find. If you are not good at conveying, right, inside yourself that there is something right inside the data, but if you are not able to convey it, it's all will go in vain, right? So your communication should also be good for the data science. So yeah.
So I can see some repetitive questions about colleges in India which offers courses in data science. So I have found a link. So it's of Shiksha's again, where you can just get the information. It has around 731 colleges which offer certain courses. So you can just have a look at it, and that will help you. That includes both private and public colleges and universities. So please just go through it. And next up, we have a question. Do you have any idea about MCA with AI and where one can pursue it? Otherwise, we can skip it.
For about MCA, like I'm not much aware, but yeah, there are courses for the AI. People can pursue their degrees on that. Yeah.
So almost all questions I have finished up asking. So if you guys still have any question, feel free to ask. We still have 15 minutes more. Until then, now it's my time to ask some questions to Rahul. So Rahul, as you were saying that, being a data scientist, anyone can be a data scientist. But when it comes to interview, that, that field of perplexion and that fear comes in. So what sort of questions people ask there in the interview? What you have faced?
Yeah, sure. So I think for data science, right, as I mentioned, it's a combination of two things, right? Basically, the first one is the programming, and another one is the data science and stats, basically, right? So while going to the interview for the data science, right? So the first thing will be your basic knowledge towards data science, right? Do you understand the machine learning algorithms that they are there, right? And if you have worked on some algorithm, right, do you understand that algorithm very well or not, or you just took it from the Google and you just implemented it, right? It should not be like data scientist is it's kind of a research work, like right? You are doing you are if you are solving a problem, right? How you are solving it, right? If you are using an algorithm, right? How you are improving that algorithm according to your problem, right? So that is the thing. So first step will be knowing the basics of the machine learnings, right? Machine learning algorithms. And the other thing is the programming, the data structure and algorithm, right, for the data scientist, because you should know how to code if you want to solve a problem. So that is the second point. And the third one is, the behavioral and the situational questions also. So basically, they can give you on the spot questions like, let's suppose, if you want to make a prediction on some sort of user base, right, who purchase in next in next month or something, who has seen that sort of patterns in the previous months, right? So how will you predict all that? So it's a basic kind of a full system design kind of thing. How will you think that problem? What kind of data you will need? Right, if you get all that data, what kind of features? So there is a terminology of features in data science, right? So features is just you can think as in characteristics of a person, right? So these are the features. So once you got a features, right, how will you design a model to make predictions, right? So that sort of situational and behavioral questions they might ask. So these are three basic and important interview phases that you need to go through.
Rahul, we have received some more questions. CP has a question. Can you give tips from your side to learn languages easily by a fresher?
Yeah, so I would say, start if you want to be code in Python only, or R, or C++ as well, right? To begin with the coding, right? To get a knowledge of the data structure and algorithms, right? You can pick any language out of that, and for starting, you can start with the Geeks for Geeks. Like it's a good reference for start coding over there, right? So from Geeks for Geeks, you can from basic till till hard problems you can reach. So on that you will get very basic questions like how to print also hello world, from hello world till how you can solve a major problem also. So you can start following Geeks for Geeks and the language whatever you are preferring, it's good.
So, where Rahul is actually giving a kind of tips and tricks to be a data scientist. So, we have last 10 minutes. Still, you have got questions, feel free to ask it. Next up, we have a question from Sejal. Could you please tell me the difference between data analytics and data scientist?
Yeah. So that's very good question, and I think that came up now because see, if someone is going in a data science field, right, they will have a confusion like what kind of work the data science person do and what kind of roles that are present under that field, right? So with this question, I'll try to help and clear other roles also in data science that are there, right? So basically, for the data analyst, right? So the core job for that is to, prepare the data, By preparing means because that data will be not as a well structured data that you see, okay, because with this huge amount of the data will always be you have to clean it, pre-process that data and get the extract or the important things, so what you need from the data, right? So that is the first part for the data analyst, that pre-process the data, right? After the pre-processing, right, you have to visualize that data and find the trends or the insights. So basically, as the word says, right, data analyst, the for the data analyst, the capability should be to analyze the data, to find the patterns or the insights out of it. And after that, right, so basically to achieve that, right, the data analyst uses few tools like Excel or the Tableau, right? So to visualize all the data and get the patterns out of it. So that is the part of the data analyst. If I talk about the data scientist, right, so the work of the data scientist is to solve the problem, using the scientific methods, process, or the machine learning algorithms, right, to build models, to make predictions. So all that sort of things comes under the data science, right, and do all the experiments, how we can improve it, our model, right, to get the better results in the field. So that sort of thing is the data scientist does, right? Now the other roles also I would mention, that data engineers, right? So I think previously I mentioned the terms data engineer, right? So what they does, basically they maintain the infrastructure and the systems, right, for the all the data, that big data handling and all that, right? So there the data engineer work comes, right? And the data engineer requirement is the software engineering and the computer science engineering. So it is because core programming, right, the Java or the Scala. So with that you can build a reliable systems, to support all the production pipelines. So these are the different roles, I would say, right? Uh, and yeah, there is another analyst called a business analyst, right? So the role for the business analyst is taking a data driven decisions for the for the business, basically. So basically there is an overlap between a data analyst and the business analyst, but yeah, they are different two roles.
So Rahul, glad to know that people have already started sharing their feedback. So thank you so much who are saying it's such an informative session. And we might plan more sessions with Rahul if he is available. We have to check with him. And thank you so much for your positive feedback. Next up, again, it's a question of how to enter, how to entry fresher in data science. Okay, for the freshers in data science, if there's any tips.
Yeah, so I think this question arises because they mostly see the jobs for the data sciences like 3-year experience or the 4-year experience, right? That's all. Yeah, so basically for a fresher, right? First thing, if you want to enter a data science field, right, you should have some knowledge about that. Right, some basic knowledge. They are not asking much experience on that, but if you know how to code in Python or few algorithms, or if you have done a small projects on that, right, so that will be a plus point for that, right? But in the in the field, when a fresher joins, right, they have to work with the other senior folks or the other senior data scientists, right, from which you will learn, right, how actual the end-to-end production works, right, for the data science models or the predictions that we are making, right? So the few starting phase will be your learning from your seniors, right, and helping in few tasks like analyzing and all that. Because the first thing to become a data scientist, right, it should be your analytical mind, like how you can solve a business problem. So that will take time, right, and it will come with experience only. So if you are a fresher, uh, you will get into a analyst or the analytical task and all, but you will be learning from the senior data scientist or the senior folks mostly. But yeah, to get into that, you need to show your curiosity, right? You should have some small projects, or you have done some courses, and you should be knowing that Python or the R, that sort of thing. So
So Rahul, there's one comment for you in the chat section, if you can just go through it. And meanwhile, for those who are asking where this session will be available, this session will be available on Shiksha's official YouTube channel, link of which I have already shared. in the chat box. I'll share it again for you all. And okay. Rahul, do you think that's a worth question we should take? What's the difference between MS in data science and MSc in data science?
Uh,
Or both are the same?
and so basically, that are I would say not same. Uh, mm, 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 mm. Yeah. So basically, the MS is basically more focused towards that, the post graduation into it, and what do you say, in coding and implementation of basically a more research part into it, right? So that sort of thing. But MSc in data science, I'm not basically clear, openly I'm saying I am not much clear about in MSc in data science, like what kind of, courses they provide in that. But see, in data science, majorly the thing is remains same. If you are doing in a BTech, MSc or MS, right? The main thing will increase is the research part into it, right? So there will be a separate field will gets divided into it, right? Let's suppose. If you are doing a specific for data science, right, you will be completely into it, into the algorithms that they are using, right, and how you can improve it, right, how you can get an improvement from the existing solution or existing paper, so that kind of thing. But yeah, that's a good question. What's the difference between, maybe in another session if comes up, right, we can share on information on that.
So Harshada has the similar question, and Harshada, I have texted you my email ID, so you can actually send your questions there, and I will just try to have a conversation with Rahul on this, and we can get back to you with more details. Okay. Next question we have: what if I start backend programming? Would that be a cherry on cake?
For data science, so as I mentioned, that data engineers, right, they are mostly backend guys. So if you are doing that, right, it will definitely will be a good point. Because see, there are jobs which includes, doing an experiments with the data science till the production part. And when I say till the production part, the backend part will come. Right. So there is a plus point on that.
So Rahul, it's time for us to wrap up our session, but we are not leaving you like this. I'll take up last question of the session. How important is MS Excel in a life of a data scientist, and how can they start perfecting it?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, right, for the quick analysis and all that, right? So most of the analysts prefer doing the using Excel, and you can do a quick, analysis on Excel very easily. So having a knowledge in Excel, it's and when you start doing a data science job, or a profession, right, you will be using Excel daily. So it's important. And it will come, just doing and practicing on it, and you will always learn a new function into Excel. So if you want to know more about Excel, you can do a small course or something on that. Maybe from any site you can prefer, or even YouTube will provide multiple courses, or multiple videos for Excel, right, that is freely available, right? So but yeah, it is important for if you don't want to go into depth of Excel like everything, but the basic functionality of Excel should be known by a data scientist and analyst.
Though I had said that's my last question, but I'm taking my words back. I can see one more question. Preeta is again asking you, sir, you had mentioned about projects. Do you mean physical projects or digital projects?
So yeah, that is basically digital. I would say that online courses. So for data science, see, physical courses, projects. Basically, I would say it is just getting a problem and solving it to end from data till building your model and making the predictions and all, right? So there are projects, right? Even on Coursera, if you see, right, they will give you a project end to end, even on Data Quest or Data Camp and other sites also you can find, right? And for more practice doing, for more practicing for data science, and getting more handle on the data science problem, Kaggle is the best site for do it, right? You can start practicing on Kaggle also for, and most of the data science prefer doing coding on that to improve themselves.
So Rahul, finally, it's the time to wrap up our session, and I'm just not saying it. I'm actually wrapping up this session, so we would love to have your concluding words.
Yeah, so I'm very happy, and from the questions and the all the members who joined this webinar, right? So the interaction and the curiosity they have shown towards the data science, I'm really happy, and the enthusiasm they have inside themselves to have to become a good data scientist, right? Just keep hard working on that, practice more, and definitely you will achieve your goal. So data science is open to all, just that you need to show your curiosity and just build your profile.
So with this, thank you so much, Rahul, for conducting a wonderful session and answering all our doubts. And thank you to all the people who have joined this session. And I hope this session will help you to build your career in data science. And this session will be available in some time on Shiksha's official YouTube channel, the link of which I'm sharing again in the chat box. So this session video will be available there. And with this, I'm Shilpa signing off. Till then, take care and keep dreaming high. Thank you so much, Rahul.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.